Hey guys, Marsningen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are back with another episode of the Fan Creation Friday series, where you guys submit your own custom cards, me and a select group of judges, which includes the mods in the Discord and the winner from the previous week, so shout out to Chaos Kit Crass. We go through the entries, pick out a bunch of our favourites, and then I whittle them down and we show off a couple of them in this video. So, as always, this is a series that if you want to take part, you just have to join the Discord. I let you guys discuss and we pick the theme for the week, then I post the form and you guys submit your custom cards. So if you do want to be involved in a future episode, the link to the Discord is down below in the description. So for this week, the theme that was picked was Storied Figures. So this is an interesting category. Obviously the only leader for it currently is the LR Tapion and Minosha. Obviously whilst it's not the official, sealed and delivered description, the description on the wiki consists of warriors who died or were sealed in the past. So obviously Tapion and Minosha on here. We've got like Bojack, Demon King Piccolo, different versions of Bardock's whole squad, Pycon. There's a whole load of various characters on here, and the description there's a little bit of room there, so there's definitely been some interesting ones. Kid Boos are on here as well. There was a lot of Kid Boos. But like I say, as always, I go by the votes from all of the judges, compile those together, and obviously the ones that got multiple votes are the ones that make it into the video. And in fact, the winning entry for this week was actually picked by all of the judges, so obviously was a unanimous winner for this week. So as I say with every episode, all the entries were good. Obviously I can't fit them all into one video, so don't be disheartened if your entry did not make it in. Feel free to submit and take part for next week. So let us go ahead and jump straight in and look at the first card for this week. Okay, so for the first entry, we have here a card submitted by Gentleman Thomas. This is a great Discord name. Is a Hero Beyond Time Tapion, who is a super physical TUR. So the physical Tapion, his leader skill is Hardened Warriors, or Storied Figures category, 3 key, HP 130%, attack and defense 170. So decent leader skill. The super attack name and effect is the Brave Slash, immense damage to the enemy, high chance of performing a crit for 1 turn, and lowers attack and defense. So this is the same crit mechanic that the Anniversary LRs have. So obviously if he gets an additional super attack, this effect stacks. So an additional super would be a 100% chance to crit. So definitely very good. His passive is a Hero's Legacy, key +2, attack and defense 130%. Then he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to Rainbow. Attack and defense 30% when attacking with 1 or more key sphere obtained, plus an additional attack and defense 30% with 2 or more key spheres obtained. Then he gets an additional 30% with 3 or more, additional 30% with 4 or more, launches an additional attack with 1 or more Rainbow Orb obtained, and then gets an additional super attack with 2 or more key spheres obtained, and seals enemy super attacks with 3 or more rainbow key spheres obtained. So there's a lot going on here with the orbs. Obviously picking up 4 orbs in general isn't really that difficult, so that means he'd be picking up all of his separate buffs, which is another 120% attack and defense. So obviously going to be hitting very hard. Really not difficult to pick up 4 orbs. And then for the rainbow orbs, you get an additional normal attack with 1, and then a guaranteed additional super with 2. I mean, we've seen from, even using Tech Janemba to try and get his passive, sometimes even getting 2 rainbow orbs isn't that easy. So the fact that he creates them himself is obviously very helpful. And then he seals with 3 or more, which is an interesting one, because obviously, say in like a longer form event where you can't seal, there's obviously not such a big deal if you can't pick up 3. But when you can, it's a useful effect for things like Super Battle Road. So obviously he has the potential to be very, very powerful. Then he has an active skill, which is the Legendary Melody. So obviously this has got to be the him playing the tune. Can be activated after having performed 4 or more attacks in battle. So it's not super attacks. So obviously this is a lot easier to get, especially with this part of his passive. I mean, if you get 2 rainbow orbs, he's automatically attacking 3 times in the first turn. He's a unit that you want to give a bunch of additional to because of his super attack effect. So actually it would be very easy for him to just attack 4 times in the first turn, and then you'd be able to see this on the next turn in something like Super Battle Road. Attack and defense 30% for 3 turns. So it's not a permanent buff, but it's a nice little buff. Obviously, for a shorter form event, it's going to make him really powerful. Or in a longer form event, you can save it till closer to the end. So it's pretty cool. His links are Hero, Experienced Fighters, Courage, Revival, Brainiacs, Solid Support, and Fierce Battle. So pretty typical Tapion link set. He's on Resurrected Warriors, Time Travelers, Movie Heroes, Siblings Bond, Storied Figures, Legendary Existence, and Hardened Warriors. And it says here, Hardened Warriors is a new category, so it's based on the Experienced Fighters link. So basically, any unit with that link should be on there, and then maybe if any other unit fits the bill. I mean, we know what Dokkan is like with categories sometimes. So I think this works really well, because when you combine that Hardened Warriors with Storied Figures, when you think about units that have Experienced Fighters, there's a lot of really good like Goku's, Gogeta, the Fusing Goku and Vegeta cards. So there's a lot of really good units on this team, and whilst Tapion doesn't link super well with them, he's very self-sufficient and creates rainbow orbs. So he's not hurting the team, even if you wanted to have him as like a third slot float and then run some of those more powerful Saiyan or Fusion units as the actual main rotation cards. So not only is he really good and really powerful, but he doesn't like limit your team building at all, which I do really like about this card. So shout out to Gentleman Thomas for this Tapion, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have an entry from Seven, who has created a Super Saiyan Bardock, a Super STR unit. He's a TUR, his leader skill is Storied Figures, 3 key, HP attack 170 and defense 150, or Pure Saiyans, 3 key, HP attack and defense 150. So, I mean, obviously pairing any category with Pure Saiyans, you obviously have a lot of units that you can substitute into the team. He has the lower leader skill for the sub lead, but I do like this because otherwise you'd basically just end up using him as a Pure Saiyans leader. So the fact that Storied Figures units are getting a little bit of an extra buff gives you the incentive to put some of them on the team with some of these powerful Pure Saiyan units. So I do like this. So he does have multiple transformations, so we'll go through one by one. So his super attack is the Tyrant Lancer, raises attack, so infinite stack, does immense damage to the enemy and seals super attacks. His passive is striking back at weakness, defense 100%, attack 120 when performing a super, all allies key +1, attack and defense 20% after receiving an attack, plus an additional attack 20% for Pure Saiyans category allies, additional defense 20% for Storied Figures allies. And then he transforms when conditions are met. So the transformation condition, remember he starts off as Super Saiyan 1 Bardock. On the next turn after receiving an attack, he transforms into Super Saiyan 2 Bardock. So I do like this, like both of his transformation conditions require him to receive an attack. So if you really wanted to, you could avoid him transforming by putting him in a slot where he's not going to be hit. So after he takes an attack, on the next turn he transforms into Super Saiyan 2 Bardock, where his super becomes the Riot Javelin, raises attack and defense for 1 turn, does immense damage to the enemy and seals super attacks. His passive is defense 130 and attack 30%, attack 120 when performing a super, all allies key +2, attack and defense 30% after receiving an attack, then an additional key 1, attack 20% for Pure Saiyans and key 1, 20% for Storied Figures, reduces damage received by 30%. And then again, if he gets hit on the next turn, he will then transform into Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. So he has the Full Charge Rebellion Edge, which greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, does immense damage to the enemy and seals super attacks. His passive is key 3, defense 150 and attack 50, attack 150% when performing a super, reduces damage received by 50%, attack and defense 30% for all allies after receiving an attack, high chance to perform a critical hit when attacking extreme class enemies, guaranteed crit if the enemy is a Time Traveler's enemy. So obviously this unit is based on the fight from the end of Xenoverse 2 where he's fighting Mira and transforming up through all the various Super Saiyan forms. I do really like this. I think the transforming after receiving an attack is a really interesting condition because again you can choose to avoid this if you want to. Because in his starting Super Saiyan 1 form, he does infinitely stack attack, and then in his post-transformations, he only raises for 1 turn. So you could, if the attacks line up in a way where you could do so, obviously play out a couple of turns with him not getting hit, and then raise up his attack a little bit more. But even if you don't do this and get a bunch of stacks on this, with the greatly raises on his super attack effect and the numbers that he gets in his passive, like you think he's got 50% on base, and then if you know, he gives support, which he's going to be getting himself, and then he gets 150 on super attack. as well as the greatly raises. So he's still going to be hitting crazy attack stat numbers, and he has 50% damage reduction. So even if you can't stack his attack for a bunch of turns before transforming, he's still going to be good. But this would allow you to use him as like a third slot unit on some teams where maybe he's not going to take attacks, just provide a little bit of support and then build up that attack a little bit. So I do quite like that. His links for Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan Golden Warrior, First Awaken, Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Pride, Experienced Fighters, and Fierce Battle. And then when he becomes a Super Saiyan 3, Golden Warrior changes to Limit Breaking form. So the interesting thing about this is the first Super Saiyan 3 Bardock that does not have Over in a Flash, because the existing one has Prepared for Battle and Over in a Flash. So in a way, I guess this works because he leads Storied figures and Pure Saiyans, which are going to largely feature units that have Prepared for Battle. So if Prepared for Battle changed to Over in a Flash, you would have to make sure you're running Over in a Flash units to compensate that change. So I don't mind this, him not having that. So he's on Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3, Resurrected Warriors, Pure Saiyan, Transformation Boost, Time Travelers, Goku Family, Revenge, Crossover, Powerful Comeback, Storied Figures and Legendary Existence. And then, yeah, the depiction is taken from the secret mission in Xenoverse 2 where you battle against Mira. Optimally, this Bardock would be paired up with another unit, maybe a Dokkan Fest Mira or Demigra for a chance at a Xenoverse dual Dokkan Fest. I mean, I'd be down for that. I love Xenoverse. I love Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. So, overall, very cool design for a card. Like I said, we got a lot of Bardocks, especially a lot of transforming Bardocks. This was the one that was picked most by the judges. So, shout out to 7 for this entry. And let us move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have the second place entry for this week that comes to us from Patrick Starr. This one was picked by multiple judges, but like I said at the beginning, the winning card was actually picked by every single judge. So this one is very, very good, very complicated. There is a lot of writing on this card, so get yourself ready for this one. A lot of thought goes into a lot of these cards, but yeah, it's a lot to go through, so we're going to go through it here. It is a super physical Master Mutaito who exchanges into Master Roshi. It's actually using the revival exchange mechanic like the Int Goku and Vegeta. But this card does have an interesting way for you to be able to proc that ability, you know, if you're having trouble actually getting killed, because revival skills sometimes can be a little bit annoying. So they're a super physical TUR. Their leader skill is Final Trump Card or Dragon Ball Saga category 3 key, HP attack and defense 170. So obviously very strong leader skill. Dragon Ball Saga definitely needs a better strong leader, and then throwing Final Trump Card with it means you can get quite a lot of powerful units onto this team as well. So the super attacks, we'll go through the two different cards separately. So Master Mutaito does the martial art combo, raises attack and defense for 6 turns, does immense damage to the enemy. His passive is the life risking strategy, attack and defense 100%, and then he gets an additional 50% attack and defense when performing a super. Attacks are super effective against all types when HP is 50% or above, or he performs a guaranteed crit when HP is 49% or below. He gets an additional super attack when facing an extreme type enemy. And he does attacked enemies, attack and defense minus 20% for 2 turns. If the enemy is in the attack or defense down status, he gains a high chance to stun. So obviously he does do that himself with his first attack. So if he gets an additional, he'll have a high chance to stun. An additional attack and defense 30% if there is an ally that includes Roshi or Shen on the team. He foresees enemy super attacks when facing a Dragon Ball Saga category enemy. So very powerful mechanic, but obviously there's a limited amount of events where you can use this. Additional attack 628% when performing an active skill in events with multiple phases, once only. Bond of Master and Disciple category allies 3 key, attack and defense 40%. When HP is 50% or above and this character or another is KO'd or this active is used, then revive with 40% HP and exchange into Master Roshi, once only. So the active skill is the Evil Containment Wave, does ultimate damage to the enemy, performs a critical hit, and if this active is used in a fight with multiple phases, it reduces your HP to 0 and activates the revival effect. So this can be used on turn 5 with HP at 50% or above. The active skill will one-shot the enemy in a multiple phase fight, but will also KO you and proc the revival. So it does explain here, multiple stage fights, so like Legendary Goku event, Infinite Dragon Ball History. What happens is you will one-shot KO the phase, which is very powerful, but then obviously it KOs you as well and pops the revival. If the event is only one phase, like the God event, Super Battle Road, because Super Battle Road, even though it's multiple opponents, it's only one fight, it does normal active skill damage and does not proc the revival. So it's still a decent attack because it gets a crit, But yeah, it doesn't do the automatic revival proccing. So this is a way for you to actually make sure you get to see the revival exchange. Very, very powerful, because obviously, like, in the GT Legendary Goku event, you could use this against, like, the Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku right at the beginning of that fight, and just immediately be on to the tech one. Because I would assume if they were ever going to put this into the game, they would probably make it so, like, the final phase of the event couldn't be one shot, so you couldn't use this against, like, the tech Goku. But I don't know if that's how this person intended the design, but I feel like if they incorporated this into the game, they would make it so you couldn't use it in the last phase. But I guess we'll have to see. So once he exchanges into Roshi, the super attack is the full power Kamehameha, which greatly raises attack for 1 turn, raises defense for 3 turns, and does immense damage to the enemy. Gets a guaranteed crit as well for the 1 turn. So if he gets additionals, they will be crits as well. His passive is carrying on the legacy of martial arts. So attack and defense 150, additional defense 50% when performing a super attack. He gets an additional super when facing an extreme type enemy. And then he gets an additional attack and defense 10% per Bond of Master and Disciple category ally attacking in the same turn. He gets an additional attack 50% when HP is 50% or above, and additional defense 50% when HP is 49% or below. I always prefer these like splits where you get more defense when your HP is low, because that's obviously what you want. 3 key when facing an extreme class enemy. Attacked enemy attack and defense minus 30% for 1 turn when performing a super attack. If the enemy is in the attack or defense down status, gain an additional defense 100% after performing a super attack. If the enemy is immune to attack or defense lower, then gain a high chance to evade enemy attacks before attacking and a medium chance to evade after attacking. An additional attack 5% for each Bond of Master and Disciple category ally on the team after 3 turns have passed since the revival. So it becomes a little bit of a support unit a couple of turns afterwards as well. So there's a lot going on here. Obviously in practice this card would be very, very good. There's no denying that. But one thing I will say, like, there is a lot going on here, so there's a lot to remember. This is the kind of card that would be really good in the game, but would be an absolute nightmare to do like a showcase video for, trying to remember everything that they can do. So I know you guys sometimes put a lot of effort into coming up with these designs. A lot of these abilities complement each other. A lot of them only are active under certain conditions, but bear in mind, you know the old saying, too many cooks spoil the broth. Like, we don't want too much going on in one card, because there is absolutely no way I would remember, like, using this unit during an event, would remember everything that they do. But obviously this card would be very, very powerful. And the links are Supreme Warrior, Cold Judgment, Experienced Fighters, Incredible Adventure, Guidance of Dragon Ball, Shocky Speed, Fierce Battle, and then for Roshi it's Kamehameha, Cold Judgment, Experienced Fighters, Incredible Adventure, Guidance of the Dragon Balls, Shocky Speed, and Fierce Battle. The categories are Dragon Ball Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, Final Trump Card, Earthlings, and Storied Figures. So shout out to Patrick Starr for this one. Like I say, very complicated, there's a lot going on here, but very, very powerful card, and you could tell a lot of work went into designing this with the way the abilities complement each other and everything. So very, very good, very strong card. And let us go ahead and move on to the winning entry for this week. Okay, so next up we have this week's winner. As I said at the beginning, the unanimous winner picked by every one of the judges. I think that's only happened once or maybe twice in a previous episode. So shout out to Miracle Weep for his Extreme AGL Lord Chilled, ancestor of the Wicked family. So yeah, Extreme AGL TUR. His leader skill is Inhuman Deeds or Wicked Bloodline, 3 key, HP and attack 170 and defense 150. Wicked Bloodline definitely needs a new lead, because technically the main lead for it is Metal Cooler and everyone just uses STR Cooler, but his leader skill technically isn't Wicked Bloodline. And obviously we need an Inhuman Deeds leader as well, so this would be a very good combo. The super attack name and effect is the Death Razor. Greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, does immense damage to the enemy and lowers attack and defense. I mean, this is like the perfect combo of a super attack effect. Greatly raising your defense, lowering attack. So really, really good in Super Battle Road. And obviously even in longer events like that, greatly raised defense, very, very good. Who do you think you are trying to oppose the Great Lord Chilled? Learn your place. So his passive is Birth of the Strongest Heritage. Attack and defense 100%. plus an additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super attack. So this, with support and his greatly raising on super, he's going to be hitting some pretty crazy numbers. He launches an additional attack which has a high chance to become a super attack, attacks effective against all types, and has a high chance of performing a crit when facing a Goku family category enemy. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, AGL excluded to AGL, and has a high chance of stunning the attacked enemy for 2 turns, or high chance of sealing the attacked enemy for 3 turns when facing a pure Saiyan enemy, or when facing 2 or more enemies. So for something like Super Battle Road, obviously this is going to be pretty crazy. Having a chance to stun and a chance to seal, 50% chance. Obviously if you get both of them go off, it's kind of pointless, but if you don't get the stun but you do get the seal, that's still very, very beneficial. Although actually the stun lasts for 3 turns, so even if both go off, it means the enemy's stunned for 2 turns, and then on the first turn that they're unstunned, they'd still be sealed, so that's actually really good. Obviously with the chance to do an additional super, that's another greatly raised on his attack and defense. So yeah, this guy's definitely going to be putting out crazy numbers. And then against a Goku family enemy, you have the attacks effective against all types and a high chance to crit. So you give this guy a bunch of additional in the hidden potential system and he will be going absolutely crazy. He has an active skill, Cease to Exist, can be activated when facing only 1 enemy or when facing 2 or more enemies. Causes ultimate damage to all enemies, greatly lowers attack on targeted enemy, own defense 33% for 1 turn, and foresees enemy super attack for 1 turn after activation. So I'm not sure quite why. So when facing only 1 enemy or 2 or more enemies, so I mean you technically don't even need to have this in here because this just means anytime, I guess, right? Unless I'm reading this wrong, because it's when facing only 1 enemy or when facing 2 or more enemies, so all the time basically. Does ultimate damage, so obviously very good. All enemies, so like nukes Super Battle Road. I feel like the requirement is because there's no turn restriction, right? So on Super Battle Road, can't you just use this on turn 1? So this makes him like the ultimate Super Battle Road destroyer. Absolutely insane. His links are Brutal Beatdown, Thirst for Conquest, Strongest Clan in Space, Universe Most Malevolent, Fear and Faith, Big Bad Bosses, and Fierce Battle. The categories are Storied Figures, Terrifying Conquerors, Inhuman Deeds, Wicked Bloodline, Crossover, Space Traveling Warriors, and Exploding Rage. And then yeah, this is an updated version because he had to update some of the details. Obviously when you guys submit the cards, there's no way for you to edit them afterwards. So this is an updated version of a previous entry. But yeah, very, very insanely powerful Lord Chilled. This card is probably verging on being a little bit too overpowered, especially for Super Battle Road. With the way that condition is written, the fact that you could just use it on turn 1 in Super Battle Road. So you'll have to let me know in the comments, Miracle Weep, if that is exactly what you meant. And if you can let us know, I will pin the comment to the video. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the cards for this week. Like I said at the beginning, if your card didn't make it in this week, it's not to say that it wasn't good. You know, there was a very tight pool of units. A lot of cards were picked by multiple judges, so there was a lot of clear entries for the video for this week. So as I said at the beginning, if you want to take part in next week's episode, make sure you join the Discord. The link is down below in the description. We usually discuss in there tonight and over the course of Saturday what the theme is going to be, and then I will post the form either Saturday evening or early on Sunday to give you guys a chance to get those entries in. I am going to have to say, we'll talk about this in the Discord in more detail, but I will need the entries to be in a little bit earlier this week because obviously next Friday it's basically Christmas, so I need to make sure the video is recorded probably by the end of Wednesday. So it'll be still scheduled to go up on Friday, but I'll be away for Christmas, so I need to make sure it's already recorded and ready to go. So make sure you're in the Discord so we can discuss all the details, pick the theme for next week, and then you guys can get your entries in nice and early. So shout out to Miracle Weep, again, this week's winner, be the guest judge on the next episode. Shout out to everybody who submitted an entry, as well as all the judges, the other mods, Chaos Kit Crass, the winner from last week. I do appreciate all you guys submitting your cards and supporting the series. Make sure you guys, help out, watch the video, share it around. It's fun to do this series of videos and see the cards that you guys submit, but the videos are usually the worst performing ones on the channel, but it's still fun to do and interact with you guys and see what cards you come up with. So do help support the series, and I will of course continue to keep making it. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.